This weekend, as executive producer of Sunday Morning Football, we've got the great Dan Fouts who's going to join us.
It's never a bad thing when you can put a Hall of Fame quarterback on the air. CBS NFL analyst Dan Fouts joining us on Sunday.
And I have added a couple of new vintage pennants to the backdrop, so you'll be able to check those out on Sunday.
I love the vintage pennants because some of them have like 3 cities ago that the teams played. Yeah. Like, it's not just like, oh, the Rams from St. Louis. It's like, where did the Rams play in like the 50s?
Yeah. So check that out by watching Sunday Morning Football at watchda.com. Yes, Mraz?
It's just interesting. You credit James Ward being the executive producer. Who booked Dan Fouts for the show this week?
It's amazing because what happened earlier in the week, Andrew Bogish, he denied and declined all responsibility when he was gone. When he was gone, I didn't do it. I didn't make a mistake. It wasn't me.
As the actual executive producer of this show, washed his hands
of
all liability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pushed the blame and responsibility elsewhere. But
by the way, why are you taking a trip for a football game with a 3-day buffer on either end?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And merely fat-fingered, not clicking the box that put the permission-granted podcast in the right feed. That's it. But still wanted to push blame, couldn't focus. They were asking him to do too much in the newsroom.
Part-time 24-years.
Yeah.
Without sick days and 401ks and anything like that.
Yeah, kids making $10 an hour. And he's going to push all the responsibility on them. And then I mentioned just that we have Dan Fouts on the show.
It was the way you mentioned
it. And then suddenly, Mraz needs all of the accolades and all of the pats on the back. And, hey, I'm executive producer of this show. Well, if you're executive producer of this show, why didn't you have the permission-granted podcast updated? Why didn't we have all the things tied up in a bow when you were gone? Why didn't you check the feeds?
I told you already. That was Rick Pitino's fault last week in me needing sound. All I'm saying is, all of a sudden, your eyes light up, and you can't wait to ditch me and get Ward in there on Sunday. As the producer of Sunday Morning Football, we have Dan Fouts coming up. Meanwhile, it's my fat fingers that have booked Dan Fouts for you. How about just the tip of the cap? Is all I'm looking for.
That's it. That's all he's looking for.
That's all he needs.
How about this?
Or just don't wax James right in front of me about Dan Fouts.
The next time you don't blame someone for one of your mistakes, then maybe you'll get some credit for when you do something correctly. And not just like above and beyond. How about when you do something correctly?
I embrace not having morals, and I don't care. Suddenly Ward's got a big mouth, huh?
Well, he's right. I mean, you want all the credit for whenever you do anything right. But when you do anything wrong, you push blame. So,
isn't that America in 2017?
Good for you.
Thank you.
Nice. Good job. Good job that being the way to rationalize
Again, passing the blame.
Exactly.
I'm just an American.
Hey, I'm an American.
This is what we do.
It's just how it is.
Hey, over here, over there. You want me to do my job well? I'm not an American then. Hey.
Point is, you're welcome for Dan Fouts, boys. Enjoy.
Incredible.
Especially you, Ward. Heavy lifting.
As if you couldn't walk down the hallway right now and go, you know what, I think James should produce DA on CBS. You have that power.
Sure.
So the tip of the cap is every Monday when you come back into work and have this job still.
Feet up on the weekend.
Yeah. When poor James is here.
Licking the cheese doodle dust off your fingers on Sunday when you're watching the games from your couch.
James is talking to Ack.
Yeah, right.
These are all fair points.
Yeah, he's got 16 hours in the Hurt Locker with Ack talking football, and you want to hug?
Yeah. As you're making buffalo cheese quesadillas.